An elephant and a dog became pregnant at the same time. 3 months down the line, the dog gave birth to 6 puppies. And 6 months later, the dog was pregnant again. And this time it gave birth to another dozen puppies. And the pattern continued. On the 18th month, the dog came to the elephant with this question: "Are you sure that you're really pregnant? Because it seemed like we both got pregnant around the same time. I have given birth 3 times to a dozen puppies, and they are now grown to become big dogs. And yet you're still pregnant. What's going on here?" The elephant replied, "Doggy, there's something that I want you to understand. What I'm carrying is not a puppy. It's an elephant. I only give birth once in 2 years. And when my baby hits the ground, the earth feels it. When my baby crosses the road, human beings stop and watch in admiration. What I'm carrying commands attention. What I'm about to bring forth is mighty and great." You see, when we don't see our prayers answered as fast as we want them or as fast as someone else's, it is easy to doubt what God is trying to accomplish through us. If you haven't received your blessings, don't despair. You need to tell yourself, "My time is coming." And when it hits the surface of the earth, when it hits the ground, when the Lord brings forth, it'll be mighty and great. In last week's video, I talked about Hannah's provocation because of her rival Peninnah. We learned what each of their names meant. Peninnah meant pearl and Hannah meant grace. Peninnah was like a pearl, a jewel that shined brightly, who seemed to have had it all. Every facet of her life was shining bright like every corner of that jewel. She had many sons and daughters. She probably had respect in the society that they lived. You know, sometimes it seems like people around us are shining like jewels. People who don't have any reverence for the Lord, who don't honor the Lord or respect God, are flourishing. They're enjoying good health, success, great relationships, careers. They're doing amazing. They have everything to show for. You may even have said, "Wow, look at them. They're shining so bright. They're so blessed." But Hannah, she had the favor of God. She had the grace of God on her life. Even when you don't have anything to show for, and even though it seems like right now what you have is a big bowl of tears and your life is far from shining, and what God is about to bring forth is still hidden, it's still in the womb, remember, you have the grace of God on you. I don't know who's watching this video, but God is telling you there is God's grace on you. You have a double portion of favor on you. Today I want to talk about few special characteristics that Hannah had that made her stand out, not just with fellow human beings, but also in God's sight. And I think these are absolutely important traits for us to follow. Let's go ahead and read 1 Samuel, 1st chapter, reading from verses 10. She, Hannah, greatly distressed, prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. She made a vow and said, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and a razor shall never come on his head." Can you believe her humility? How many times she keeps saying maidservant, maidservant? Last week we saw that she processed her pain in the right place, in prayer. She took it to the Lord and not to any other human being. Let's continue reading. Now it came about, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli was watching her mouth. As for Hannah, she was speaking in her heart. Only her lips were moving, but her voice was not heard. So Eli thought she was drunk. Then Eli said to her, "How long will you make yourself drunk? Put away your wine from you." But Hannah replied, "No, my Lord, I am a woman oppressed in spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink. I have poured out my soul before the Lord. Do not consider your maidservant as a worthless woman, for I have spoken until now out of my great concern and provocation." Now put yourself in her shoes and think for a second. You're already distressed. You've been weeping bitterly, maybe for days or even weeks, because of the anguish in your heart, because of the provocation from your rival. And people who should be a source of comfort, people who should be a source of encouragement, they add insult to injury. You know, the hurt is already there. But here's what is exceptional about Hannah, and it's my prayer that I would grow in this too. The first thing is, Hannah didn't react. she responded. Now let's talk about reaction versus response for a second, okay? Some people use both these words synonymously, they use them alternatively, but I think there's a huge difference between reacting and responding. When Hannah was misunderstood by Eli the high priest, he was actually supposed to be the mediator between God and man during that time, and she was misjudged by him, who was supposed to be a source of encouragement, a source of comfort. He mistook her to be a worthless woman, a wicked woman, a drunkard. She could have reacted, but she didn't. She calmly responded. It's easy to react when we are in anguish, when we are going through pain, whether it's physical or emotional, when we are really distressed, but she responded with respect. She said, "No, my Lord. No, my Lord." The strength of our character is revealed in really how we react. Our reaction to the situation can literally have the power to change the entire situation itself. That's why I like the verse in Proverbs 15th chapter verse 1. It says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." A reaction can be instantaneous. It can be driven by a trigger and a bias in our subconscious mind. When you say or do something without thinking, that's the subconscious mind running the show. Our unconscious mind, it's running the show. A reaction can be biased. It can be based on the moment, and it doesn't take into consideration long-term effects of what you do or you say. A reaction is something that you may regret later. I love this powerful quote. It goes, "Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it." Isn't that beautiful? You may have heard this, that stress kills us, but I'll say stress doesn't kill us. Our reaction to it does. Learning to respond calmly is one of the greatest traits, if not the greatest trait, that will not only help you in your relationships with fellow human beings, but also with the Lord Almighty. And what comes to my mind is the Syrophoenician woman. Remember her, the Syrophoenician woman who came to Jesus to ask for her daughter's healing? Jesus replied with one of the strangest replies ever recorded in the Bible. He says, "I can't take the bread that belongs to the children and toss it to their dogs." You know what her response was? It was absolutely beautiful. And that response even amazed Jesus, which in turn made him say, "Your faith is great. It shall be done for you as you wish." He granted her request because of her response. So for those of us who are still struggling to respond graciously instead of reacting impulsively, Hannah is a great example. The second thing I like about Hannah is she never mentioned her need to the priest. Not that it is wrong to take our prayer requests to people around us, although at that time actually the priest was a mediator between God and man, and she could have told him, "Listen, Mr. Priest, Mr. Eli, I have been bitterly provoked by my rival. My heart is in deep anguish. My heart is troubled. I'm here at the feet of the Lord because I want a baby. Please pray for a baby." She didn't say that. She took her request directly to the Lord. There are some requests, some deep anguishes of our heart that are best left at the Lord's feet, not with anyone else, not to be shared with anyone else. She grasped that powerful truth that she need not excessively explain herself to anyone. Sometimes when we are misunderstood or we want other people to understand as well, we keep on going on talking about it to anyone and everyone, and we try to explain ourselves to the point of exhaustion. She understood that if there is anyone that can help her, it is the Lord alone. It is not Eli. It is God alone. Isn't it amazing that she didn't mention to Eli that she was praying for a child? She could have said, "This rival is irritating me. I need to have a baby. Please pray. Do something. Speak to the Lord. I need a baby." No, nothing. She said, "I have poured out my soul before the Lord. I am not a worthless woman. I've been praying out of my deep concern, my great concern and provocation." That's it. Her gentle response and her direct supplication to the Lord brought her answer. I want to go ahead and read verse 17. 1 Samuel, 1st chapter, verse 17. Then Eli answered and said, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your petition that you have asked of him." She said, "Let your maidservant find favor in your sight." So the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad. Hannah was a gentle, humble, wise, even-tempered woman. She didn't react or retaliate even when she was wrongly misunderstood. She didn't even explain herself to the point of exhaustion to anybody. She processed her pain in the right place in prayer. And I want to read this one last verse before we close. 1 Samuel 1st chapter 20th verse. It came about in due time after Hannah had conceived that she gave birth to a son, and she named him Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of the Lord. You see, it came about in due time. In due time. Beautiful words. In the meantime, we should all be doing what Hannah did, responding instead of reacting, pouring out our heart to the Lord instead of to people or to people who can't change our situation, and being grateful and expectant of the Lord's answer. You know, He will answer our prayers in due time. Samuel was one of the greatest prophets in Israel. Peninnah may have shined like a pearl. She may have had many children. She may even have had respect because of the number of children she had. But no one came close to the significance that Samuel had, both in God's sight and in the sight of people. That's because Hannah had the grace of God on her. So don't despair or lose faith when you see others receive answers to their prayers and you don't receive yours. Don't be envious of others or their testimony. Nothing worth having comes easily. Let me tell you that nothing worth having comes easily. I hope today's video has been an encouragement to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I make videos every single week on intentionally living a life of faith. I'll see you again next time.